YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you how I come up with skulls from scratch using basic shapes in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm basically just going to be using circles. The circle tool can be found in the menu right over here. You can expand this menu and you can find it right over here. You can also press the L key on your keyboard. Another thing you should know is I'm using Dynamic Sketch plugin. You can find the plugin right over here. I'm putting up a link below in the description where you can buy this plugin. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to create paths really fast. So if I want to cut up this path, for instance, I want to have half a circle, I could do it using the path finder, but it's way more efficient using Dynamic Sketch. I think those are the main tools I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to jump over to the stroke panel. I'll show you how I apply different profiles and weights to my strokes. So let's get started. So I'm starting out with this one circle, and keep in mind that this tutorial is basically, it's from scratch, so I didn't make a sketch. I'm just freestyling. So I think I'm just going to show you guys the basics, and then I'm going to speed up the process up until the point that I'm doing some new stuff so I can share that information with you guys. So let's get started. What I'm doing right now is I'm just selecting the anchor points and just moving them around. And I'm also just adding new anchor points. So basically I'm doing the exact same thing all over again. I'm adding anchor points and then I'm dragging them, pulling on all these handles to get them in the direction that I think they should be, and eventually something will come to life that should be looking like a skull. So I'm just gonna keep on doing this, keep on repeating this, and I'm gonna speed up this process. So I think we did a pretty great job on building a skull from a few circles and playing around with the anchor points. So what I'm gonna do right now is I really don't like these kind of lines, and I really don't like the weight of the lines. I think it should be more dynamic. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm basically gonna focus on this panel. It's called the stroke panel. You can find it in window and then just hit stroke. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna select some lines, and I'm gonna start playing with the weight. So I'll be applying different kind of weights to different kind of strokes, just because I think it makes my illustration more dynamic. So this is basically the same as I did before, just playing around with it and then just seeing what happens. That's basically the whole point of this illustration. And as you can see, you can also add different profiles to your strokes. What this is doing is it's giving your line like a more dynamic look, which is always a good idea if you're making an illustration like this, because it's full frontal, it's close to symmetrical, so it's up to you to come up with some stuff to make the illustration look dynamic. Once again, just readjusting lines and cutting them up until the point that I'm satisfied with it. So if you have questions about this, if I'm doing anything that doesn't make any sense, please let me know, and then I'll definitely help you out, because it's really basic stuff. So I'm just gonna keep on doing this. Once in a while, I'll just do something that at first sight doesn't make any sense, but I feel like it makes my illustration look better. So for the teeth, for instance, I'm just gonna select them, and then I'm gonna rasterize them. And what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna live trace them, and you can pick any preset you want. You can even make your own presets. And this gives the illustration this kind of look that for me looks way better than the lines I had before. So it's just a way of finding your own technique to come up with something that looks good. So once again, like I said, and I keep on saying this, if this doesn't make any sense, please just leave a comment so I can explain why I'm doing it. As you can tell, this looks way better than the boring strokes we had before. We're not there yet, so I feel like something is still missing. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna keep on playing with this, and then I'm gonna add some color. So the illustration is pretty much close to done, but it still needs some extra touches. So yeah, I think the profile panel and this stroke panel is really important. I would definitely should suggest you playing around with it. as you can tell, along the way I see stuff that I'm not satisfied with, and I just keep tweaking it. So I feel like there's missing some detail right over here, because the area isn't that smooth. So I'm just adding some lines to illustrate the roughness of the area in the skull. And once again, basically just circles and cutting them up. I think I'm just gonna leave this skull for what it is, and I think this is looking pretty good. I mean, I can keep on adding details, but I don't want to make it too complicated or too long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna be happy with this result, and I'm gonna show you how I add color to my illustration. So let's do this. What I'm doing right now is I'm selecting all the outlines that I made. As you can tell, I put them on the outline layer. And what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna make a second layer for shading. And also, what I always do is I add color to my illustration. It's really simple. So with the layer selected, the outline layer, so this one, you go to Object and you select Live Paint and you just hit Make. And what you did right now is you actually created a big pad that is gonna be really easy to fill up with color. So in this color sliders, I'm just gonna select something grayish. And as you can tell, if I hover over the certain areas, there's gonna be a red outline outlining the area that you're gonna color. So I'm just gonna fill it up with color. And this is a really, really easy and really fast way to color your illustrations. And it's also the most clean way to do it. This is super fast. So I'm happy with this result. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna select it all. I'm gonna go back to Live Paint and I'm gonna expand this, and I'm gonna select the outlines with the Magic Wand tool. That's this little tool over here, and I'm gonna just select the outlines. I'm gonna paste them above the color layer I just made, and I'm gonna rename it to Outlines. And this little layer I'm gonna just rename to Color. So if I hide this layer, you can definitely tell that it's really super clean. So this is the result if you do a Live Paint, and I'm just gonna put the outlines on top of that. So I'm gonna add some shading to this illustration. I'm just gonna lock these layers so I won't mess up my layers. And what I'm gonna do is really, really simple. But like I said, I keep on getting questions about it on my Instagram. So I'm just gonna show you how I do it. I'm just gonna hide the skull for a second. So if I make a circle, I'm gonna fill it up with white, so you can tell in the color sliders this is 100% white. You can go over to the gradient tool, which is right over here, and just apply a gradient to it, just like this. So now you have a circle with a simple gradient, and you're gonna select that circle. You're gonna go to Effect, Texture, and you're gonna select Grain. So as you can tell, Illustrator is coming up with this grainy effect, and now you have the effect that I always use in my illustrations. But as you can tell, you can't do anything with this. So what I do, and this also for some people doesn't make any sense, I'm gonna rasterize this. Just press OK, and what you have right now is basically a pixel image of the effect you just created. But since you're an illustrator, you don't want to be using pixels. So what I do right now is I go over to Live Trace, and I select my custom made preset. Illustrator just live traced the effect that I want, and if you press Expand, you have a perfectly faded grainy circle, which is pretty awesome. And also it's pretty heavy on your computer because as you can tell, this is a lot of pads, this is a lot of points, this is a lot of information. So now that you understand the principles, I'm gonna delete this circle and I'm gonna apply this onto the skull that I just created. So on the shading layer, I'm just gonna create pads and I'm gonna apply some shading to it the same exact way I did in the example. So this area is obviously gonna be a lot darker than this area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply white to it, created a point using the mesh tool. With that point selected, I'm gonna apply some black to it. And it's up to you to decide how black this should be. If you make it more gray, the grain effect is gonna be less intense. So once again, this is just playing around until you get something that you're satisfied with. And the more points you make, the more complicated the mesh will be. So try to keep it simple. I think there should be some shading over here, maybe some shading over there. This should be darker. I think this is looking pretty good. And then I'm going back to Effects, Texture, Grain. Just press OK. I'm gonna rasterize this. I'm gonna trace this, expand it. And now you have this cool looking grainy effect. So I think this makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, just send me a message, leave a comment, and I'll definitely help you out. I'm just gonna repeat on doing this and until the point that this skull is finished. I'm definitely gonna speed this up because this takes a long time. So I'm pretty much done with the shading. I'm just gonna apply the finishing touches and then I think we're pretty much done. So what I'm gonna do right now is I always like the outline to be heavier than the lines inside the illustration. So I'm gonna unlock the outlines. So with that selected, I'm just gonna copy them and I'm gonna create a new layer that's gonna be below the color layer. I'm gonna rename it to outline. I'm gonna paste the outlines on the exact same location, which is CMD Alt Shift V. And as you can tell, I pasted them underneath the illustration. So what I do right now is I jump over to the pad finder. I'm gonna divide these pads and I'm gonna rejoin them. And as you can tell, I made a pad that is the exact same shape of the illustration on top. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna select it and I'm gonna apply weights to the stroke, just like that. It's a really simple way to create the outlines, like the outer outlines to make them heavier than the lines inside. There probably is another logical way to do this, but I think this makes sense. This is the way I do it, so I'm just gonna lock this up. And what I also like to do at the end of my illustration is see if there's a better option for colors. Maybe it should be a pink skull, I don't know. So that's just playing around with these little sliders and until you get something that maybe the final thing that I always do is once again just gonna select this pad and I'm gonna copy it again and I'm gonna create a new layer below the whole illustration I'm just gonna paste it in the exact same location like we did before, and I'm gonna hold down my shift key and then just move it just to create like kind of shading. So now it looks like the skull is like kind of floating on top of the screen. What you also can do is you can keep on adding stuff. You can add a simple background, maybe a circle, give it some color. This is completely up to you. I'm like kind of fan of pastel colors, so give the circle like an edgy look, something like this. I think this is pretty much done. And like I said, you can keep on adding stuff. It's completely up to you, but I think I showed you a lot of stuff to think about. Just keep on practicing, keep on making cool illustrations. Definitely send me the results. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned a lot. I'm gonna be making a tutorial every single week, so keep on watching my channel, subscribe. If you have tips for me or tricks on how to make the tutorial even better, please let me know, and thanks for watching. Bye. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to follow me right over here, here, and here. Bye.